family. How you doing? It's your boy Stoney coming to you live from the TCM Museum of Minnesota. This is the Space Corps Podcast, episode 31, baby. We climbing up in them ranks. If y'all haven't done so, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page there. Got the fucking links and shit down below. Subscribe to the Facebook page. Check out the fucking merch store if you like the show. You like to support what's going on here. You know, we got the fucking shirts. We got the swag. We got the good shit going on. Space Corps, Stoney's TCM Museum stuff, even some goofball shit from back in the day of the early times of the fucking horror community bullshit. Don't forget to fucking hook it up there. Anything that's sold, of course, we pump it right back into the show. Better microphones, because this is a piece of shit we were just figuring out about 10 minutes ago, which is why we're a little late hopping on, but you know what? The show will go on, baby, and I think we got it fixed out, so thanks to troubleshooting. So, happy fucking Friday, everybody. Hope you're all having yourselves a nice goddamn beginning of the weekend. We got a lot going on right now. We have the return of my fucking good buddy, our professional wrestler, son of motherfucking Leatherface, Mr. Evil Nate Hewitt himself. Hello, sir. How the hell are you?
Dude, after an intro like that, man, I'm pretty good. How are you?
Dude, I can add so much more to that fucking resume of yours, my friend. I mean, you know, we got a lot to talk about tonight. Author, another one. I mean, TV superstar, fucking world traveler.
I don't know about that.
He's a passionate, handsome lover, but you know, a very. Oh my God! Those videos you sent me, you know, it's beautiful. They get me going. So.
That's fucking awesome.
How you been, man?
Awesome. Pretty good. Been busy. Paige Dahlia, the Chainsaw Queen, she killed it, man, at the as always. You know, she spent the last year going around the country. It's wild, you know, she went 7 years undiagnosed CRPS and got diagnosed with it like around the same time that she just started booming back into wrestling.
Yeah.
So she went from not doing anything with wrestling for all these years to the past year, dude, she has headlined the Wrestling Universe store in Queens, New York with former WWE Divas champion Alicia Fox.
Hell yeah.
And, I mean, she main evented with her without even wrestling a match, signing autographs. I mean, she signed and sold almost as much as Alicia Fox, which is, it's like, damn, that's wild.
Hell yeah.
And, you know, she's in Jersey for Wrestle Bash 2. She did the Marietta Monster Mash last year. And then this year she was at Icons of Wrestling in Philly at the ECW Arena. And then she did WrestleMania weekend. She did WrestleCon, you know, all weekend. She kicked ass. And, like, she does fantastic at all of these. It's badass to see. And then this past weekend, it's such a wild thing. And we documented so much. We still haven't posted everything, dude. And so we're back at the ECW Arena in Philadelphia. And she's not even wrestling a match on the wrestling show. There's two big wrestling shows going on that day. There's a women's show, and then there's the men's show. And she's just on intermission. And usually at a wrestling show, you're booked to wrestle, and then you go out and you sell your gimmicks during intermission.
Sure.
She's not even wrestling, and she's out there, you know, selling fucking merch and autographs and taking photos with the Dynamite Kid, who was the cousin to the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith. They had a tag team in the 80s. They wrestled like the Hart Foundation. They were the British Bulldogs. So she was booked on this fucking show at the ECW Arena with the Dynamite Kid's daughter and wife. And behind Dahlia on her table, you have the Dynamite Kid's robe, his trunks, the collar they would put around Matilda, the actual bulldog they would bring to the ring. Yeah. And here's Dahlia sitting there, and I'm there. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. And then we have our Excalibur chainsaw from Texas Chainsaw 3 with all of this wrestling history. So
that's got to be humbling. That's got to be amazing. That's just like, damn, dude.
It's funny, man, because like she's doing that, then we get back from that, and Sunday after that we went to watch Chris Jericho's Kiss cover band Quarantine up in Pennsylvania. That was just a wild ass experience, and she actually got to go and talk to him and stuff, which was badass. And so he's aware of her CRPS and stuff, and just having somebody like that understanding what she's going through. And then we come back from that and we go and train with Bobby Blaze, who was in Smoky Mountain Wrestling and WCW back in the day. He's a mentor to us, and it's just been a busy ass week. So to answer your question in short form now, it's been good. So
I don't want no short form, man. I love this. I love to hear everything going on. So Jericho, I mean, I know he's in Fozzy, right? That's his main band that he's got.
Yeah.
Beautiful shirt, by the way, my friend. I absolutely.
Thank you. I was turning it light down. I look like a fucking ghost right now.
Oh, that looks better. There you go.
Yeah.
So he's in Fozzy normally. So he's got did you say a Kiss cover band?
Yeah, they just do 80s hair metal.
It's awesome, dude.
So it's not even like Kiss like from the 70s. It's like Kiss 80s. But they did do Strutter, which I love Strutter. That's such a good song. And when they did that, and you can tell, like he's just a guy having fun, not taking himself serious. Like when you watch his shit, so it's like really cool, just to see that. That's awesome. So yeah, I think he actually started, from what I know, and I'm not like some huge Chris Jericho mark. I mean, he's cool, but from what I understand, he started the band during quarantine just to like screw around and stuff, and they just do Kiss 80s.
He's always seems like he's a cool dude, like I say, it wasn't my like most favorite wrestler growing up, but I mean, nothing but respect and love for that dude. I mean, he seems like
he was in the mix of it all, man. Like back then, like how many guys can say they beat Steve Austin and The Rock in the same night? You know what I mean?
Right? No shit. But he just seems like, behind the fucking curtains, he'd be like a nice dude, and not just some fucking egomaniac. Maybe he is, who knows, but
who knows?
That's crazy. So Philly was good. That's the last time I talked with you. You guys were heading out there, and it's good travels and all that shit.
Yeah. It's a simple travel. I mean, we drive almost everywhere because where we take the Excalibur chainsaw and then the other chainsaws sometimes,
right?
Because we haven't really experimented with taking the chainsaws on the airplanes yet. When she was booked though at WrestleBash 2 last year in New Jersey, it was really cool because she's over there. Here's Badass Billy Gunn. I grew up watching. Holy shit.
Yes.
Here's D'Lo Brown. I grew up watching. Holy shit. And there's a couple others around, but I remember we were talking to D'Lo Brown. So I'm like, wow, this is crazy. What kind of world is this?
Damn.
And he was, we were like, do you think we could get the chainsaw like through like on the plane and stuff? He said, oh yeah, absolutely. He said, no fuel, you'll be good. He said, absolutely. You make sure there's no fuel in it. No reason they can't, because like when people go over, like Paige's uncle, Dahlia's uncle, he's been to Africa to hunt before. I mean, you take guns over. So
I assume when you have it in the ring, you don't have the blade on it or anything, right? It's just
the chain. No, I take the chain off for two reasons. Reason number one is actually not even because of safety. It's because I didn't want to ding up the bar of the Excalibur because where it's solid chrome.
Oh yeah, duh.
That was because the funny thing is I've hit that fucking bar on that chainsaw. I smacked it on doors. I've never dropped it. It's concrete when you set it down. Like it's definitely got to get a new paint job and stuff. But it's been fine. So I've never really done anything to the bar. It seems to be fine, but that's the main reason I took the chain off was I didn't want to risk damaging the bar. And Eric from Disillusion 74 that made it for me, he said that's the main thing, aside from safety. And then the second reason is it's a big ass chainsaw. You don't want to risk cutting yourself or somebody else. Yeah. So,
but thinking about like carrying that on the fucking plane. I mean, the length of it. I mean, that's got to be longer than a fucking even checking it overhead or something, right?
Yeah. So what we've come up with, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to end up probably having, because we both talked to Chainsaw Tony, and he was the one that was supposed to be at the fucking Midwest Gore Fest that went all to hell. He's the third incarnation of the FMW Leatherface from Japan. So I spoke to Tony, and I was like, how do you get, because he goes to Japan and wrestles all the time. I was like, how do you get your chainsaw on the airplane? He's like, oh, brother, he said, they have a chainsaw over in Japan ready for me. Anytime I go somewhere, they just have one for me. I was like, well, that's cool, but I can't really do that with a Stihl 034 that's a custom Excalibur chainsaw.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Unless you got an extra fucking 8-10 grand nowadays to throw down, like,
bro,
fuck.
They're getting expensive now to get them customized. But what's funny is like after you and I, because you and I have been like on this actual chainsaw kick, of like finding cool ass chainsaws and diving into what models have been used in all the fucking movies and stuff. So during mine and your like exchanges on Facebook, I got on Facebook Marketplace and I have found 3 to 5 Stihl 034s that have been pretty reasonable in price.
Really?
Yes, and I mean I'm talking anywhere from the bare minimum $150 to the most I saw one I believe was for $500.
All right. Well, shit. I mean, that's the money you can work with right there. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I tell you, ever since we last chainsaw we talked about when I found out that Paulin 77 or 76.
So, bicentennial.
So for everybody watching, for the bicentennial year of the country, so in 1976, Paulin Chainsaw came out with a collector's series chainsaw, and it's kind of a shorter one. I don't think it's as long as the standard 245 or anything like that. I think it's a little bit smaller bar, but it's red, white, and blue. It's American as fuck. Even the bar is like patriotic as shit. It looks amazing. And I'm like, ever since I saw that, I thought it was a joke at first. And then all of a sudden I look on eBay and there's a couple of them. And of course, up there that, you're going to spend $300-$400 or something. But I started taking to the, I'm on a bunch of regular like chainsaw, like collector groups and stuff too. And I started looking into it. And all these people are kind of mentioning it. And they go, fuck, I've passed up some of those at, garage sales for $30, $40. You mean to tell me people are trying to, people are paying $300 for them? So that makes me kind of feel like a little bit like an idiot. Like, just don't spend the money like that. Just wait, be patient, be resourceful, and I'll find one,
Yeah.
But
absolutely. Absolutely. I came across one because I have found so many cool chainsaws, dude. And but before I start expanding my collection like that, I want to make sure I collect every replica from all the Leatherface movies.
Sure.
And then I'll start diving in. I mean, unless somebody's like, "Hey, I got like 100 chainsaws for $5." Okay, give them to me.
Right. Yeah, I like to make weird, goofy shit now, especially like I think I'm just kind of like keeping it interesting in the collecting here for me because I've got so much stuff and I've kind of like hit this type of kind of a wall as far as like just things I'm buying. It just it's few and far now. So I'm thinking, what can I make like a Leatherface, like 4th of July with that fucking chainsaw, I don't know. I'm almost thinking he's like a hybrid between like Macho Man, give him some fucking glasses, and
I love it. Well, you could get that bicentennial and do an All-American Massacre chainsaw.
Yeah, dude. Ooh, I like that.
Fuck yeah, dude, because that's first thing I thought of when I saw it was fucking Chop Top. So
that's
I think it'd be
beautiful. I love that idea, man. We got some homies watching here too. We got Big Moose Lodge Horrors. He's the main man up in fucking Canada. What does he say? Be patient, you say, my strong point. Absolutely, dude. If you can't fucking have some patience in this collecting world, you're gonna fucking lose your ass on this stuff. You just can't.
Yeah.
Because it's easy. It's easy to spend a lot of money quick, man.
Oh yeah. Since I've got into the collecting initially over the past year, and I got bit by the bug because what's funny about it is it really started off as I wanted to get the posters to decorate my hall.
Sure.
So first I got a couple of posters. They were just reprints, 27 by 40 reprints, like part 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I was like, well, wait a minute. Like some of these original posters, like the remake and the prequel to the remake and the 3D, I can get those for primarily as much as I can for a reprint.
Yes.
So why wouldn't I just get the original theatrical poster? So I started purchasing those. And then part 3, you might spend at the most maybe $60 for an original theatrical like release of part 3. And part 4, I found them for $44 up to 60 for an original. And the only 2 that you're really going to spend the most on for a theatrical release is part 2 and part 1. And part 2, you can get the Breakfast Club version, I think, for like $150. And then you can get my favorite version, which is him busting through the back of the truck or the door, whatever it is. He's busting through the cartoon drawing.
Yeah.
I think you can get it for like 100 to 120, something like that. So.
Yes. Yeah, just the biggest thing for me with those is like not getting the folded ones. I can't stand those fucking crease lines and shit, especially at that age and on the crease lines are rubbing away, you know, where you can just see a blatant white line. Bugs the piss out of me, man. I mean, you know,
I get
there's
that.
some stuff that you can hide, you know, once it's pressed behind, you know, glass or, you know, plexi or whatever in a frame.
Yeah.
You can't hide that shit, man.
Yeah, and that's where it's my collecting bugs started for me, because I used to collect like crazy when I was living back home in Eastern Kentucky, and then the events that unfolded over the past decade and stuff, I didn't collect and I didn't want to do anything. And then Dahlia Page, she had got me a couple of random things. Like she bought me some cool Texas Chainsaw shoes, which I got to wear when I met Kim Hinkle, so those are very special to me.
Cool, man.
Yeah, it's very cool. And she'd got me the neck of Leatherface. You know, it's like $30, 35, whatever it is. And just a couple of random things. And when I started getting these posters last year, then I just started diving into oh man, I can get a soundtrack, you know, not open for like $30. Let's fucking do it. Hell yeah. Oh, I can get this. Oh yeah, let's do it. And then I'm on eBay and I'm like, I'm dropping. So when I got that 35 millimeter of the trailer of part 3,
yes, I
shot the guy a message because he was selling it for $150. And I so unshamefully, I was like, hey, brother, dude, like I'm really good friends with R.A. Mihailoff. He's like, is there any way you can bring this down for me, you know? And he did. So I got it for like $100.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah.
I got no shame in that. I mean, it's, you know,
no.
For the most part, I mean, eBay's so fucking cold, you know, and most of the prices are ridiculous, and everybody's shooting high anyway. So it's like, hell, even if there's something I like and there's not like a, you know, like a make an offer, I send them a fucking message. Hey, you know, here's what I do. I'll give them the spiel, you know. I mean, it also helps. Absolutely. My eBay handle is Stoney's TCM Museum, you know. So I just, you know, feel it's kind of like, you know, it explains itself, you know, like
exactly.
Why the fuck I want it.
Yeah, exactly. Same. I get that, dude. I get that.
I was going to ask you, do you have some of these? Let me see here.
What is that?
So this is the actual trailer of the first movie that they would run on the radio station.
Really?
Yes. I feel like such an asshole because one of my homies really hooked me up with this. And
that's amazing.
Yeah, so, God, I thought we might have to talk because I think I've got maybe, I've got 2, but I think it might be 2 different clips. So,
oh shit, that's so cool.
But I mean, it's an A and a B. It's a 30 second and 30 second. This one just says 2 30 seconds as well. So yeah, and they got like the check mark down there for like it's radio or TV. And
that's beautiful.
Yeah, dude. So like. This is the type of stuff now for me, like I say, like I've kind of hit this plateau of like collecting, and every time I say this, I always feel like I'm coming off like some elitist dick, and I'm not trying to be, but it is what it is.
Look, I mean, look at it. Look at everything you have. Like you, for me, dude, I told you were popping up in my suggested friends, and you had that profile photo with the chainsaw. It's basically the same chainsaw, which is hilarious that the Nicotero Leatherface uses in the game.
Yeah. Right.
And so you have that old school chainsaw with everybody's autograph on it. And then, I mean, your goals as far as like Texas Chainsaw collecting goes. I mean, you and Chase Anderson are top 2 goals.
Chase is a beast, man.
He is. But he's the man. He's the legacy guy. Chase is.
Oh, fuck yeah. So what now where I'm kind of getting out with that type of stuff, now it's like, now I start thinking like, okay, you know, I want to add to my collection, like, you know, something to play that. I want to hear that. Like, when's the last time that's been heard? You know, that specific tape, right? I mean,
that's a fair question, man. That's a fair question.
And hey, and if it burns up or gets fucked up, I got 2 of them, right? You know.
Hey, that's perfect. And also, just in case that it does, I would film myself watching it as well. That way, you have it like, hey. This was the actual sound, and this was the first time it was played, and God only knows how long. That's exactly what I would do.
I wonder. See, and I've never even looked into it, so it's like I don't even know like price point, but like maybe this old sound and film equipment, you can find it for a pretty cheap deal. I mean,
I haven't looked either. I'm sure you could.
yeah.
I would absolutely do. Probably go on. I mean, fucking go on the Facebook groups. I guarantee you. I mean, there's some really good deals on those Facebook market
Yeah.
groups.
Yeah, dude, it'd be fucking sick. So
Hell yeah.
that's kind of where my head's at now. It's just like kind of this like secondary stuff. It's like now I want to. I'm
Well,
starting to kind of build busts. I'm starting to do like full
yeah,
size mannequins and just fun stuff.
yeah. Well, for me, so I want to get all of the replicas of the franchise, of course, and I'm off to a pretty good start on that. Uh, I think my goal is because I got a lot of stuff from part three. Like you take Neil Oliver, he's like the guy for part three.
Okay.
You know, when you talk to him and you see like he does everything part three. So part three, it really resonates with him. And he like from his versions of the Excalibur he does, they're beautiful. So everything, and I'm plugging Chainsaw Graphics. That's who I'm talking about.
Yep,
So
yep.
everybody out there, go like their page. The dude does fantastic work. He's got a really cool bust. He does of Leatherface, RA. I mean, it's really cool stuff.
Yes.
So like Neil's he's like the encyclopedia guy for part three specifically.
Mhm.
And I kind of want to be that guy for part four. You know what I mean? If I could
Yes, dude.
if I could really just start getting things, whatever, from part four and just kind of saving that and salvaging that, that's where I really want to manifest myself to get going forward.
That's cool.
So
I like that,
yeah.
man. I wouldn't think of a different movie out of the franchise other than 4 when I just know you and whatever. I know that's your shit, man. That's
Dude, I listen to that fucking, I mean, I say this all the time. The soundtrack from not both, but the soundtrack from part 2, part 3, part 4, and even the fucking remake, like not the scores, but the soundtracks.
Yeah.
Amazing. They're all like Texas Chainsaw does this weird thing to where when it utilizes music, it fucking utilizes music. Because part 4, I swear to God, when Renee's running from Leatherface the first time in the forest, there's a song playing by Push Monkey called Mother. I fucking love that song. Dude, I work out to that song all the fucking time. That's such a badass song. Like every song on the album is Kim Hinkle. And I think Kim Hinkle was probably, I guess, in his 40s at that time. So think about that. This guy in his 40s, let's say.
Yeah. And
he is using all this really cool 90s alternative music throughout this entire movie. It really is like an alternative music video when you watch this movie. So I'm really obsessed with the movie, and I don't know why. So
you know what I'm really, really fortunate and happy about as a fan of the franchise are these fucking behind the scenes documentary. I mean,
yes,
for part 4. I mean, Jesus Christ,
amazing.
How
I wanted that, dude. I salvaged for that fucking documentary 12 years ago, 13 years ago. I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
Like I was looking all over. I was messaging like I knew horror nerds from back in Kentucky. I was like, dude, can you find this for me? And I couldn't find it. And now it's just randomly on YouTube if you ever just want to watch the doc.
Dude,
so
the fucking magic of YouTube now, man.
Oh yeah. So nice. So nice.
Sick. Moose Lodge says, I'm not a dick. You're an experienced collector that knows his shit. Right.
That's true. You're my go-to guy right now, man, because you've been cool as hell. And I'll hit you up like, hey, have you seen this? What, how could I find this? Because 2 things I'm looking for this year specifically right now is I want to find a piece that just has Gunnar Hansen's signature on it. And I already told you about this. If I can, because I have an autograph of him, but it's, to me. And I just want something with and I don't want to pay a fucking arm and leg for it.
Sure.
So, because they always upprice Gunner's stuff, always. I'm not saying it's not worth it because it actually is, but a lot of people are like, well, $500. No, dude, I'm not paying $500. But it's crazy. But I just want to find a piece like a photo of Leatherface or something with like his autograph, because at this year's Scarefest, I mean, you have every Leatherface there except for Dan Yeager and Andrew Bernarski. The rest are there, and my whole mission is to get all their autographs onto one thing with Gunners. That's my goal.
Yeah, so that's awesome. Those prices, I mean, nothing but love and respect for Gunnar Hansen for what he's
Yeah.
done and what he is. But I mean, to
Yeah.
be quite honest, everybody, he signed a lot of things.
Hell yeah, dude.
He was in the cons forever. So
That's how he was making his living. I guarantee you. That's how he was making.
Is not scarce. So just
No.
the fact that he's passed away, people just think it's worth its weight in gold. And then
No.
the younger, inexperienced collectors will pay that, I mean, that's
Yeah.
the fucking OG, right? I mean, I understand it all, but
Yeah.
be patient for people because, I mean, watch eBay is a big one. But, again, you got to know, you got to be careful because there's fakes, there's bullshit, there's stuff out there.
Yep.
You can find legit, autographs of his. I mean, some might even slip through the cracks for $80 to $100,
I've actually. There's a couple on there right now for like $80
Sure.
that I found.
I'd say I personally I would pay up to like 150 for kind of a standard Gunnar auto if I wanted, but again, subject matter really is important too. If it's something that's very rare, what I mean, like seeing him on like the poster, right? He's on there a lot, but I saw Chase. Okay, so Chase Anderson. If anybody isn't familiar with him, he is like he's the gatekeeper of like the real TCM museum, the fucking everything. He's an amazing guy. Every once in a while, if you haven't, like and follow his profile on Facebook because he will put up these special sales of some really really unique OG shit. And
he just
did that last week, and there was an 8x10 from the press book or press kit.
Yeah.
Where Leatherface is at the bottom of the steps and turning
Oh,
around,
yeah.
and I hadn't really ever seen that much. And it
I
was
hadn't either.
signed. I'm like, that right there to me, that's worth a lot of money because that's a really rare piece, or a chainsaw bar signed by him or something, like those.
Yep.
Okay, I'd pay a little more for that, but generally, 150 be my cap, man.
Absolutely. And again, as you said, it all depends on the piece. Yeah. And I have seen just some ridiculous stuff, man. And it's your standard run of the mill, reprint of some of the press photos, some of the publicity photos, and people are charging $350. Now, dude, I'm not paying $350 for that. You're crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pay $350 for that. Now, if it was an actual Bryanston fucking, poster from 1974 with Gunnar's autograph, okay, we can talk. That's going to be worth something.
Dude, those fuckers are worth like 500 unsigned right now.
Yes. I found a couple on eBay for a moment and they were in bad shape, but I'd still pay that for one in bad shape. Yeah. I mean, I would. Yeah. That's me. So
I had an opportunity to buy one when I just first started really collecting, and I didn't really understand the rarity of it, and it was just the poster was unsigned, and I was just like the ticket price was so high, and I was just like, no, pass, and that same individual also offered me, in which this is my biggest regret so far now in my TCM collecting, is that he had an original TCM2 poster, and it was signed by Bill Johnson, Mosley, and it had Saito on it.
No.
And I think Carolyn, there was a fourth, and anyway, I just, me, I'm not a big fan of 2, and I was just like, dude, I can't stand that movie, but the price, dude, like, I think it was only like $300 or something, which Jim Saito's autograph alone is worth that. And
that's amazing. Can you imagine having that piece, then getting both Bob Elmore and Tom, or whatever his name is, the other one. Yeah. Getting them to sign it, and then getting Ed, the truck driver from part 1, to sign that.
He's a chili judge, man. And there's a lot, there's a lot you could stack on there. And ever since, I mean, I've got my main poster, it's cast signed. I've got outside here, I've got an original TCM3 that's cast signed. I think I've got 8 or 9 autographs on there. And then one I haven't shown you yet is the remake I have over there from the opening night. There's like 13 or 14 autographs on there, including Jessica Alba's and Arlie Ermy. I mean, it's beautiful.
The fact that you got Arlie, is Michael Bay's autograph on it?
Yes, it is.
Holy, dude! Oh my God, that's fucking wicked. Michael Bay and Arlie Ermy and Marcus Nispel. That is fucking amazing.
Yeah, it was one of the scores of a lifetime. So then all of a sudden I started amassing these full size casts, and I'm like, I could have had the part 2. And and I even reached back out to the guy. I go, what happened to that? Because he's an auctioneer. He goes, oh, I sold that right after you said no. He goes, I put you first in line, and And I'm like, do you remember who you sold it to? He goes, yeah. And I go, I understand, and confidentiality. But I go, will you please reach out to that guy and just explain and say, name your fucking price, I'll buy it. And the guy was just like, it's home forever. And I said, God damn it, I understand. Fuck.
Yep. That's so hilarious. Man, I would part 2 is my least favorite out of the sequels. As far as like, I do enjoy the aura. And I say this all the time about the entire Texas Chainsaw franchise. Each film, even though they're all like different, there's a weird similar aura to each of the movies.
Agreed.
And I don't know. And the crazy thing about that is I don't know how they've managed to pull that off, because it's always different writers and different directors and different styles of cinematography. But each one of them, it feels like it honestly, for me, it's like each one of them are related aside from the name. You know what I mean? Like you could somehow intertwine and connect every one of them. So,
I was gonna say, okay, I gotta go back to the thing where you said 2 is your least favorite, which again is pretty much mine. But when I really throw it up for debate, do you really do you think that's less than 2017 Leatherface? What are your thoughts on that fucking movie?
No. So here's my fucking problem with 2017 is that it's not a fucking Texas Chainsaw movie.
Yeah. Yep.
And I know there's people that hate the Netflix one, and I understand why you hate it. I get it. I have a couple of things I don't like about it, but it feels like a Chainsaw movie to me at some parts of it.
Yep.
Texas Chainsaw 3D, I have problems with it, but it does feel like a Texas Chainsaw movie. Leatherface, that fucking prequel, is honestly, if that wasn't about Leatherface, that'd be a good fucking movie.
Sure.
Like it would. It'd be a fine movie if that was called let's Deep Down South, whatever the fuck you want to, whatever you want to call it, horror in Texas. Let's just say it's called something like that. And it's not about Leatherface or anything, and you change all the fucking names. Okay, it would never stand out to me but it does have really good actors in it. Like Verna, that woman's a great actress. The cop, he's a fantastic fucking actor.
Right.
The guy that played Leatherface, the young Leatherface, I didn't think he was a bad actor. It's just that it was a bullshit movie. I didn't like it.
You know what I think it is to me, because I agree 1,000%. It's not the feel of a TCM movie because it's a Lionsgate film.
Yeah,
they have a very, not like a niche thing, but I mean, maybe they do. I mean, there's a certain, like you listen to a band, you can pick their music out. There's a style to their movies they produce.
Anytime you hear Carlos Santana with a new singer, it's Carlos Santana playing.
Right.
All the time. Yeah. He's got that style. Same thing as Slash, whoever, So Lionsgate is the same way. Like when you watch Texas Chainsaw 3D, well, I can tell that's a Lionsgate film, just like I can tell Leatherface is a Lionsgate film as well. Mm-hmm. So they do have that style to it. So
yeah, I mean, but I got a lot more love for 3D for sure. I mean, I know everybody hates on that. I don't care about the corny stuff. That's fine. It's okay.
No, the do your thing, cuz it probably wouldn't piss me off as much if not for the motherfucking she's 20 years old and it's been 40 motherfucking years later.
Yeah.
That really got me. Like when Paige and I went and watched we went and watched the opening night, dude. I'm so excited. I take photos in front of the poster outside. I'm like, oh my God, here we go. This is so fucking great.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, they're not going to miss with this fucking movie because they went out of their way. They rebuilt the house in the beginning. Gunner's in this. Marilyn Burns.
Yep.
Fucking Bill Moseley is playing Drayton. Holy shit. Grandpa's back. They actually fucking care. And I was wrong because I watched it and I made myself love it when I'm sitting in the theater because, it's Leatherface in the theater.
Yep.
And we come out. And Paige is talking to me about it, Dahlia, and she's like, how is, his cousin in her 20s and it's 40 years later? And I'm just completely ignoring her. Yeah. Like, I'm not fucking paying attention because I don't want to hear it. And I'm just like fucking, mentally masturbating myself because I fucking wanted to love this shit so bad. And it's about 2 days later and I'm driving to work And then I'm not even thinking about it, and it just fucking hits me, dude, like somebody just sucker punched me. And I just started cussing and screaming in the cab of my truck. And I said, mother, and I'm going nuts. And I was like, oh my God, that's true. They didn't give a fucking shit, did they? But you can't really say that as a whole because Dan Yeager was like mentored by Gunner throughout that whole film.
Yeah.
You know?
Hell yeah.
And Dan had love for the fucking Leatherface character. So, and I don't think Dan did a bad job as Leatherface.
I like the mask. I love just the maroon shirt. I liked what they did with him, man.
Yeah, sewing it into his face finally.
Yes.
Like when I was for years I've wondered why is Leatherface never just sewn the fucking mask onto his own skin.
Yeah.
So that was cool. There were some things in it I liked, and
sorry, cut you up. Did you see the poster I got for 3D just the other weekend?
No, I didn't.
So, I've got signed by Gunner, signed by Marilyn, signed by Mosley, and who else? John Dugan on there too.
Wow, dude, that's so neat. I love that. Yeah. That's beautiful, man. I'll send you the link to it. I've had it saved on my eBay account for probably a little over a year, and the guy hasn't sold it yet, and I think I mentioned it to you. It's a little pricey. It's like $500, but it is a 27 by 40 of that poster, and it's signed by Dan. It's signed by Gunner. I think it's signed by Bill, and it's signed by the other Leatherface that we see for a second.
AJ Stone.
Not the one that played. Not the one that does not the one that's on the poster. Not that one.
All right.
There was another guy that played Leatherface when when Bill Mosley comes in, and he says, "Look what you did" or whatever, and then Bubba's in there with the truck driver hanging up for a second. You get to see him for a second. And the mask looks like shit. I mean, it does. The pretty lady mask, it looks like shit. That wasn't Dan. That was not Dan that played that character.
Interesting.
That's another Leatherface. Nobody talks about him or anything.
I didn't know that, man.
There's a poster with his autograph on it.
Whoa. Okay.
With Dan.
We're gonna erase this from the podcast, and you're gonna send me that link so everybody else will fuck off right now.
I will. I'll send you the link, man. It's like I say, it's a little pricey, but I think just for having Dan Gunner and that guy on it, I think it's worth it.
Dude.
So,
well, we're getting some good feedback on all this other stuff too. Going back to the 76 chainsaw there. Moose Lodge says, "Do an all-American Leatherface Stoney." He goes, "The Macho Man glasses and all that would be awesome." I think I'm inspired. Yeah. If anybody wants to fucking chip in, send me the fucking Macho Man, fucking red, white, and blue glasses or something. Ooh. Let's get her going.
Yeah. Freaking.
Oh, please. Fuck yeah, dude. Oh yeah. Appreciate everybody fucking hopping in on this lovely Friday evening, by the way, too, man. I'm just happy to have you back on again, dude. You know, like we fucking rocked that one podcast and we got done. It was like, what, 2 hours or something? And I'm like, we didn't even talk about half the shit I thought we were going to talk about.
No, I know. One thing I wanted to talk to you about, I'm going to do a deep dive video on this because I feel like it never gets talked about or discussed. So, you know how the cook in part 1, he talks about how he doesn't do any of the killing. And, and then the hitchhiker calls him out for it. And then he says, me and Leatherface do all the killing.
Yeah.
He's just the cook. So I love how at the dinner scene, and this just goes one of those things, when you watch Original Texas Chainsaw, you can watch it a million times and still pick up new things. But in the dinner scene, Jim is going back and forth, the cook. He's doing this amazing thing, and I've never seen anybody like praise him for this. It's like he's going from being a normal guy to when he's like freaking out and laughing and joining in with his brothers or whatever they are to him.
Yeah.
And then he's going back to being normal. Like, oh, should I be doing this? Like, should I, is this right? And then he just like goes back into like, laughing, and it's fucking amazing acting. And like I've never seen any breakdowns of people talking about it or anything. And it's like he has this, and the same thing when he's got Sally in the truck, he goes back and forth from like, okay, I gotta stop hurting this girl to like, fuck it, bam, bam, and starts hitting her with that fucking stick. And his acting in that is just, it's so good. Like, I mean, if you really go back and just pay attention to him, I think like we as fans can really garner another appreciation for him as an actor, because it's top notch shit. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. Fuck
yeah.
Buddy. Yeah, the Cook, man, I'm happy to see he's getting a little recognition now in the collecting side. You know, like, you know, Trick or Treat Studios is coming out with a dinner scene.
Oh, I know. I just hate that everybody's passed away and they can't see this now.
Right.
That's the only thing. I hate that it took this long for us to get so much fucking Texas Chainsaw stuff, and we don't even have like. I mean, there's still a decent amount of cast members, but man, so many have gone on at this point. And I just think it would have been really cool if, you know, what was his name? Paul, that played Franklin.
Yeah.
Like, if he could have seen a lot of this shit. If, I mean, Gunnar got to see a lot, but I think it would have been really cool if Toby and Gunnar and Marilyn could have made it to the 50th anniversary.
Oh, absolutely.
It just would have been phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel it's like probably about half of the main core, you know, of the film, you know, they're gone.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
You know, at least collectors nowadays, you can still get quite a bit of oddballs on your poster and stuff like that had something to do with it. You know, I mean, you get Pearl from, you know, it was the cinematographer, you know, whatever. But yeah, it's interesting, man. What is he saying? Moose Ledge said he was wrong. Hold on. How many gunners you see in Paint Pen? I know of a Cinema Fierce. Okay, I was wrong. Yeah, I gotta get that thing framed up, man. That was something else. I got a lot of good reorganizing I'm gonna do around this place. You know, I realize I've had this shit up now for almost a couple of years, and I was doing that when my third child was born, and I took a good month off or whatever, but tacked everything up. But now that I got some more stuff, I got some really cool shit that I don't have room for putting up, so I think I'm gonna really kind of revamp it and, you know, do the setup a little different. And, you know, I talked with you about how I want to do the bookshelves with the chainsaw from each movie, you know, with the corresponding mask, and, you know, maybe the DVD or something, you know, something like that. So
that'd be very cool, man. That's something I want to do. I can one day, whenever I get settled into like actually buying my own house and stuff, I'm just going to do like an entire fucking cave. I want to do like chainsaws hanging from the fucking ceiling. That's what I've always wanted. So,
hell yeah, dude! Meat hooks and chainsaws, bro.
Man.
Every time you walk through.
Yeah, I was actually really happy. I decorated a little bit just for this, but this was my latest piece. Actually, not in bad shape.
Oh yeah, not yellowed at all.
No, it was. I mean, it's got. I didn't want to get the sticker, but I mean, for the price I got it for, and the fact that it was in, you know, I really like getting things from, especially the 90s, and where that was from like 1999. I was really excited to get it. So,
hell yeah, dude.
Yeah,
that's fucking great, man.
One of my favorite pieces, where I finally finished the Leatherface comic run from 1991.
Yeah.
So I have 2 copies of part 1, and Brett Wagner lost Leatherface from the remake. He sent me a better version of part 1, the issue 1. I mean. And when he sent it to me, it's got, so the cardboard it came in, it's got his address and his name on it that he wrote. And I was like, I'm keeping this. And just because it's a very cool piece to have.
Absolutely.
So I have like this random thing of, you know, Brett, and, you know, it's just a little thing. And then it's got like my gimmick wrestling name on it. And I was like, oh, this is pretty fucking cool to have. So it's just a fun little thing. And I do enjoy like little random pieces or little rare pieces of things like that. So that's why I kicked myself in the ass for not getting that Return of the Texas Chainsaw VHS. I found some motherfucker had one on eBay, and they were doing a fucking auction. And man, everybody always waits to the last 5 seconds. Yep. Do. And I was like, fuck. So I'm not going to pay that much for this, dude.
Right. Yeah, man.
So
there's sometimes I'll just, you know, I'll put in just that extra high bid at the end just for the safeguard for that. And then all of a sudden it reaches up there and you still win it or something. You're like, oh, fuck, I really don't want to pay this much. You know?
No.
All right, here we go. But I've been on the other side too, man. When we do like live horror auctions on these communities and stuff, it's such a different atmosphere, right? It's all a bunch of love. We all know each other.
Yeah.
It's respectful. It's bid high, bid early, all that type of stuff. But when it's eBay, fuck that. I don't care. I'm that motherfucker the last second too, just bidding because fuck it, dude. It's cold. There's no face. You don't know who these people are.
Exactly.
You know who you're
exactly.
Whatever.
There's no rules. There's no rules. Fuck it.
Fuck it is right. Dude.
I love that.
Let's see. Mr. Guy Durham says, I did realize that when they are at the dinner table, you can tell he is thinking back and forth. I thought the same thing, he said.
Yeah, it's true. It's something that kind of goes unnoticed for the most part.
Right. Yeah, no, that's I always look for a good reason to play that fucking beautiful movie again. So that's Dude, coming up.
That used to be I would fall asleep to part one all the time. I kid you not. I'd pop the DVD in. At the time it was the 30th anniversary DVD.
Yeah.
And I'd pop it in, start watching it, just go to sleep. It relaxes me. I know that's fucking weird, but it fucking relaxes me. I go to sleep and then I wake up to all the beautiful sounds that Toby Hooper had made for it, because it'd be on the DVD menu.
The DVD menu screen.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's again, Texas Chainsaw, man. It's one of those franchises that it's a very unique, and when people love it, man, they fucking love it. So,
hell yeah. I get it, man. So, I want to ask about your book that you got going on and stuff, because we didn't get to talk about it the first time. I mean, tell me about it. What do you got going on, dude?
Okay. Thanks for asking, and thanks for giving me a chance to plug it. I actually, when I get it finished, which I'm very close to finishing it finally, and I want to come on here and probably announce when it's done. I think that'd be great. Absolutely. So it's definitely a passion project, and I'll go ahead and say, like, writing this, I'm not trying to be Stephen King at all. This is it's a collection of short stories that are all connected. And it's basically a love letter from me to the slasher franchise is what it is. And I've had the concept for it. I mean, I'm 34 now, and I started coming up with, because I've been a horror fan since I can remember. Mm-hmm. So I started coming up with ideals for it when I was like 12 years old. So this is like 20 plus years in the making. And I finally have taken time, thanks to my partner, Paige Dahlia. She's really inspired me and pushed me to do it. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do it. So all this year I've been working on it, writing on it. And the whole concept is, like the movie Trick or Treat? Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like that, but with nothing but slashers. Okay. And you have all these intertwining stories. And if you can't tell by my Appalachian accent, I'm from the eastern part of Kentucky. I'm a hillbilly. And growing up in the mountains of Kentucky, I mean, you had Wrong Turn that happened over in West Virginia. Of course, Texas Chainsaw down in Texas. Hills Have Eyes, that's way out west. Sure. So you have like all these concepts of inbred hillbillies and stuff, but never in Kentucky. And I was always surprised by that, I was like, why is there never anything going on in Kentucky? I mean, like, we're known for like being inbred. What the fuck, We're known for kissing cousins, we're known for being barefoot, bad teeth, and terrible education. Why is nothing good? Why have they not done anything here yet? So, because literally I live think of it like in the Hobbit sort of Lord of the Rings movies. Like, we're all barefoot, we're living in the mountains. You know what I mean? So I lived in the fucking mountains on dirt roads. I've lived in log cabins. Like, I've lived the stereotype. My next door neighbor was making moonshine. I have legit done that. So that's everything that you see on the Beverly Hillbillies and all that shit. I've lived it and experienced it for the most part. So anyway, all these stories take place back home in my hometown of Eastern Kentucky, specifically in Pikeville, Kentucky, which is where all the Hatfield and McCoy shit happened. It's right there. Cool. And it's about different slashers, different serial killers. Like, you have a killer clown, you have a killer scarecrow, you have a Leatherface. I blatantly rip off Leatherface in this. I had to. And it's because it was my tribute to him. You have a guy that's like Jason Voorhees. You have a guy that's like Ghostface. You have a guy that's like Michael Myers. You have a female killer. You have all kinds of different killers, and the whole concept. And then you have a nationwide serial killer who's been killing from state to state, who just winds up in Kentucky. at the same time all these other killers cross paths.
Sure.
And it's a fucking bloodbath with not only their respective victims that they're all chasing and killing at the time, but what happens when the immovable object meets, you know, the irresistible force.
Okay.
In the mountains of Kentucky.
Cool.
So it's just my love letter to slashers. It's my love letter to 80 slashers. It's my love letter to the genre. It's my love letter to Texas Chainsaw, Friday the 13th. And I'm going to do both. It'll only be 5 chapters. Like I say, it's a collection because I took the ideal of like, okay, I want to do what Pulp Fiction and Trick or Treat did. I love that. But I also want to do what Clive Barker did with the Books of Blood. They're short stories.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm just going to have them all intermingle and intertwine. And I'm doing the collection of short stories will be 5 chapters, and then I'm going to have a graphic novel issued as well.
God, that's so cool, man. So,
yeah,
so you're actually, when the book's done, there will be a physical release of it, right? It's not just straight digital.
Hell yeah. No, the physical release is way more important than digital. I'll do a digital too, but the physical release, because I'm going to have these. I'm booked with Dahlia at the Marietta Monster Mash this year, and we're also booked at WrestleCade in November. So these books will be available at both of those events. And then I'll have them at Scarefest in Lexington, Kentucky as well.
That's so cool. So do you have the actual like production side and that aspect of it already kind of figured out? Do you know people? Are you?
I know. So I got a couple of things. My sister is a self-published artist. She went through, you can self-publish shit yourself, and you go that route. But then I also have in my corner William Perry. His name is Bill Perry. He's a stuntman, and he was in Wes Craven's People Under the Stairs. He did stunt work in Nightmare on Elm Street 3, 4, 5. He did work with Michael Jackson. He's you remember Predator 2?
Yeah.
Okay, you remember the white gang leader on the train?
Mm-hmm.
That's him.
Okay.
So that's Bill Perry. He's actually helping me. He's going to be going over once I'm finished. He keeps in contact with me every day because he's a published author himself. And we met him last year at the first Marietta Monster Mash in Marietta, Ohio. And he was promoting his book, and then, of course, promoting, hey, I was in People Under the Stairs and Nightmare on Elm Street, so-and-so. And we talked forever, and he had a respect for wrestling. He thought it was really cool. And he was the second person that inspired me to write my book. And it's really cool. Met him one time. We took some photos. We talked. The man he follows me on Instagram. I got him on Facebook. He checks in with me all the time. Hey, you still writing, aren't you?
Oh, cool.
Dude, it's one of the coolest fucking things ever. And he's not only going to go over it and check it out for me, he's going to suggest it to the company that published. He's got 2 books, and he's going to suggest it to his publishing company, have them take a look at it. He said, it's worth a shot. You never know. And he, along with Brett Wagner and R.A. Mihailoff, they're all going to write an introduction to the book also.
Oh, cool. That's so fucking awesome, man.
That's honestly, I'm more excited about that fucking part. Having all 3 of these dudes that, have made a living doing like horror and stuff, and they like me for some reason. I'm like, all right, this is cool, man. So I was like, will you guys do a forward to it or write an introduction? And RA was like, yeah, you want me to? I was like, hell yeah, I want you to. Why wouldn't I, man? This is fucking, awesome.
What an honor.
So, that's what I said, man. So, I'm very excited about it. I'm super excited. Like the kid in me do. I love wrestling a lot, but I'm enjoying the fuck out of like this opportunity.
So if everything went perfectly according to plan and all that, when would you ballpark a physical copy in my hands here? Like within a
September.
Year?
September. I'm talking September. Worst case scenario, beginning of October, because I'm a little behind right now. Because this week I was supposed to write on it every night, but because of how busy I was this week, it just was out of the cards. It wasn't going to happen. So I'm going to make sure every night this week I'm writing on it, because I'm on it legit. I'm only behind like 3 weeks behind schedule of what I had planned. And I'm on chapter 4 right now, and I have one more chapter and I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah.
God,
so
cool.
September and October. That's what I'm looking for. I'm really really wanting it done. I'm wanting this motherfucker published by the beginning of September. Honestly, I'm wanting it ready. I know that some people are like, whoa, what the fuck? But I legit think I can get it done because I'm going to try to get this thing, the rough draft, completely finished the month of July, and then spend August, getting everything, getting all the kinks worked out and everything.
Yeah. Dude, fucking sweet. Well, I gotta get me one. I need
Oh
it
hell yeah,
signed.
dude.
I gotta get it signed by you.
Hell yeah, man. Absolutely. I'll fucking yeah. That's an honor for me, man. And it's my goal too is like when I have it, like, and I want to get the guys that are doing the introduction and the forward, Bill, Perry, RA, and Brett. I want to get them to sign it too. I think that'd be cool.
For
So
sure.
yeah,
And that just ties back again, to a collector making your own collection really personal like that. I mean,
yeah,
that's the shit that's so just priceless, right?
yeah. And what's cool about it is like, so I'll have like, Bill, he'll check in on me just randomly out of the blue. And I'm like, oh, dude, thank you, dude. That means the world to me.
Yeah.
And then, like I talked to Brett a little bit today, not about the book, but I just talked to him today because I seen he was doing a con, and I was joking with him about some stuff. But then when that's not going on, like Paige Dahlia, I'll bounce all my ideals off of her. And it's kind of like she's not my wife or my girlfriend or anything, but it's kind of like one of those things where George Lucas, his wife, like made Star Wars better from everything that I understand.
Yeah.
So I'll have this ideal and she's like, that's cool, but do this. And I'm like, fuck, that's such a good ideal. Thank you. So she's always like feeding me, like really opening up another part of my creativity, and it really helps. So I'm always surrounded by positive creative forces, which is cool.
Dude, absolutely. I mean, you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not gonna sit and at least bounce ideas and get other perspectives from people. I mean, not everybody's looking at it the way you are. It's
no
shit. I mean, especially something so personal as like like a novel of stories, like you said that you've been collectively writing for 20 something years in your head.
Yeah.
I mean, you're pretty in the thick of it, and for somebody to be on the outside looking in and be like, well, hey,
yeah.
That's awesome. That's fucking great, dude.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Now I appreciate you asking about it and wanting to know about it, and
Dude.
I appreciate the badass camaraderie and friendship you've offered to not just me but her, like both of us. And you've been cool as fuck, man. And that's one thing I'm very thankful and appreciative of. And so just thanks for that.
Dude, of course, man. And I'm still heartbroken over the fucking Midwest Gore Fest being canceled because that was the big fairy tale date of meeting you guys and goddamn.
The amount of pissed off frustration when I saw it was happening, I said, "This motherfucker."
Yeah. Dude, I'm gonna tell you right now. I was gonna wait because it's. I will say it because I know it's officially happening. I've got the silver lining out of this whole shit fest of the Gore Fest.
Yeah.
Is I got in touch with the artist that the organizer, whatever we want to call this guy, the fucking failure of this whole thing.
Yes.
I've got one of the wrestling belts coming my way. The custom TCM Leatherface wrestling legit fucking leather belt.
Did the guy already make them? Or was he in the process of making?
He made a few and then he stopped once it all was happening because I think he was going to make like 10 of them or something like that.
How many does he have now? Are you at liberty to say?
I don't know if there's one more potentially. I think there might be, but I can pass that along. But
yeah, let me know.
I did a little sneaky intel, or at least I read into my conversations with him before because I knew that he dropped. Once he was telling me about the belt, and then also I was kind of asking about the artist, and I remembered he gave me the Instagram of that dude, so I had to scroll way back in our chat history.
Yeah.
And I found it, and I sat and sent that dude messages for a long time and didn't connect, and I was like, it was just a shot in the dark or whatever, and then we finally connected, and yeah, and he was really just like, he was very like humbled, that like I was like seeking after it so much, and he's just like,
that's a good piece to have. It's a very cool piece.
I'm thinking so, man. So I'm just really, really fucking pumped about it. Like, I got tracking info. It's in transit like fucking right now. So I think I'm gonna probably get it maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week.
Was the price pretty fair?
I think so. As much as I've understood what the price of wrestling belts go for, like real legit ones, I see.
Okay.
I mean the fucking WWF, the legit ones, all
Yeah.
that shit. So yeah, I
Okay.
feel it's there, and then plus, not to mention, I'm really talking, a custom piece by an artist that hand sculpted the fucking clay
Yeah.
to make Leatherface, and the clay sculpture, that's what caught my eye the most. It's a beautiful fucking rendition of like Leatherface. I was just in love with
Yeah.
it, man.
When I saw the designs they were releasing for that, and the guy had also sent me some photos, I was like, that's pretty nice. I do dig that. I do. And funny story, when they did when AEW last year did the whole Texas Chainsaw Massacre death match on TV, and somebody came out dressed up as Leatherface, and then Jeff Jarrett won the Texas Chainsaw belt. I was so fucking jealous. I was like, God, I don't get jealous, but that was one thing I was like, man, I am so fucking envious of this. But I was in a locker room like the next weekend, and I remember wrestlers coming up to me, guys that have actually been and done work for AEW. They were like, did they contact you for that or anything? Like, you'd been perfect for that, man. I was like, no, but thank you for saying that. That actually means a lot. I really appreciate that. So
yeah, I mean, you are of the smallest group of people that would be deserving of having something like that. I mean, my God.
thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. That's I think I told you last time I was on this pod, but I am doing a T-shirt design with RA, the Son of Leatherface.
Right. How's that coming?
I haven't got to it yet, just because of stuff that's been going on, and just how I've been busy. But it's coming. I actually think I'm going to do one with him, and then I'm going to see if Brett would be interested. And I think Brett would be, just because of his background in pro wrestling.
Hell
So, yeah.
Oh, that's
So
cool, man. Yeah, I mean,
that's definitely the
everybody
goal.
watching too. If you don't know, fucking Nate's balling out. He's got his own merch, dude. I think I got something coming in the mail from you pretty soon, which I can't wait for.
You do. You got something. I'll let you know when it's coming. Like I meant to get it out this week, but it'll probably be on Monday. So my apologies about that.
You haven't mailed it yet?
Not yet. My apologies,
dude. So I saw so Paige Black Dahlia. I was watching on her Instagram or something. The fucking trading cards or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I commented on it, and I forgot to pursue it, but I said I wanted to fucking buy one of those, and I wanted that. I want her to fucking shout out to Stoney on there and
hell yeah.
So
I will get her to do that.
Work that in the deal. I'll pay whatever the cost is and all that shit.
We will. I actually, the same guy that did her cards, he's been working on some for me as well. I don't know when he'll be done. I don't bother him with it or anything, because he suggested. I was like, sure, yeah, you can do it. That'll be cool. But yeah, she absolutely will do that for you. So that'd be no problem at all.
Awesome, man.
Hell yeah, man.
I said it before, but I'm just, the other part where I'm just so happy about this, friendship relationship with you guys is that just to the core of like who I am as a kid. I mean, I'm in that pro wrestling, upbringing, and
yeah,
and I fucking love that. And then all of a sudden, just to have, this TCM love, and then all of a sudden there's this fucking crazy blend together,
yeah,
and that's you guys, and it's just so fucking cool, man. It's just like not only like the friendships to have, but now there's like pieces that I can now add to my collection selfishly that'll like tie all into it. How fucking cool, dude.
Well, that means the world, like that support, and then the fact that you're excited about that, and that's cool. That's where I don't even consider you a friend anymore at this point. I know we haven't met, but I consider you fucking family as far as that goes, because you've been nothing but legit and cool as shit about everything.
I was gonna make a move on you guys at the hotel. That's all. I had it planned out.
Hey, don't worry. I actually planned on Buffalo Billing it. I was going to show up Manjana and everything. You know what I'm saying? But that's just how I do it. So when we were in Philly this past weekend, and Paige Dahlia, she went with Dynamite Kid's daughter, Bronwyn, and her mother, and they went to induct Dynamite Kid into the Wrestling Hall of Fame up there at the ECW Arena.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there at the merch table. I got my Excalibur chainsaw, that's been signed by RA, used by RA. This fucking thing has been, I've had Michael Berryman hold this thing. Ken Anderson has held this thing. Brett Wagner's held this thing. Like, there's so many random people that have held it and gazed upon it in person. So I'm sitting there with it, and I look over, and I'm like, man, that's Dynamite Kid's gear from the fucking 80s.
Yeah.
Okay. So I take my chainsaw, and I scoot it in front of it, and I snap this photo, and I ended up posting it.
That's cool.
And it's just the coolest, most random thing of there's Dynamite Kid's wrestling gear.
Yeah.
And then here's this replica Steel 034 Excalibur from part 3 that I carry to the ring. And I posted it, and I was just like, this is such a weird world. And his wife, she was like, he would have loved that. He would have thought that was the coolest thing ever. And I was like, man, this is fucking awesome. I was like, this is so strange, man, but it's so fucking cool.
Jesus, dude. How many wrestling matches have you wrestled? Like, if you had to ballpark it.
That's a good question. I started wrestling at the age of 19 in October of 2009 in Eastern Kentucky. I wrestled from 2009 until 2017, and then I took off from 2017 until October of 2021. So I took off like that 4 or 5 years, and then I've been wrestling, or not October 21, but it was October 2021, and I've been wrestling since October 1st of 2021. Since then, after my break, which funny thing about that quickly is October 1st of 1974 was the worldwide premiere of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that, and that's when I returned to wrestling as my Evil Nate Son of Leatherface gimmick.
Yeah, dude.
I was like, this is fucking cool, man.
Wow.
I didn't even know that. So, but I'd say matches, God, man, I might have maybe 1,000, maybe. And I don't know. It's tough to say because when I was wrestling, I know in 2010 and 2011, and when I was wrestling for a shitty local indie company, dude, there was like for a solid year, we wrestled every Saturday, and then sometimes we did what they call a double shot where you'd wrestle early in the day and then later in the evening. And then sometimes we'd have a show Saturday night, then a show Sunday.
Sure.
So yeah, maybe 1,000 at this point. And, there's a lot of people by now that have been in the business as long as me, or even less amount of time as me, that have had way more fucking matches.
Okay.
So, but again, I did take off like 5 years, and that's because where Paige went undiagnosed with CRPS after she got hurt out in LA and wrestling. But yeah, I'll just say 1,000, but I'm really not sure. I've wrestled a lot, so
that's way more than I was thinking. So that's crazy. So a follow-up question on there. So like, for one, I got to compliment you on all these promo pictures that I've been seeing of you doing lately. The green screen, I mean, all this stuff, dude, fucking amazing. But I'm also seeing this tag team of The Void. Is that what your tag team group is?
Yeah. So just an ideal. I hit up this local manager. He a lot of people say he looks like James Mitchell, the Sinister Minister from TNA, who did some ECW stuff also. But his name is David Barnabas Spector. He's a really good manager, good promo, good talker, great fucking look. And plus, he's called Barnabas. How can you not like somebody called Barnabas?
Yeah, right.
I love Dark Shadows, the original. So I hit him up like, hey, you want to do something? Because we talked a long time ago about doing something. He's like, sure. And then he, another guy that I'd wrestled with, Eric Fallon, he hit him up. So he got him. And Eric does this really cool thing where he comes out and he's got like this gas mask and it's like fire shooting off of it. And it's really badass. And Eric's a good wrestler. And Dolly and I, we had discussed it and we were like, yeah, let's do this. This will be really good. So me and her, that's when we talked to David, and that's when he got Eric involved. And then recently, he got this other wrestler involved with us called Zodiac. And Zodiac, I've wrestled him. He's a local guy. All these guys, we're all vets, been around for a long time, done our thing all over the country, all over the tri-state area. So we got entered into this Ricky Morton from the Rock and Roll Express. He has his own school down in Tennessee called the School of Morton. They're doing a Rock and Roll Invitational 2024 tag team tournament.
Okay.
We got entered into this fucking thing without ever having a match as a group. I mean, the funny thing is I have teamed with both guys before. We have tagged together, and I've wrestled both guys too. But we got entered into this thing, and we were like, okay, we got to get some reps in together. And so Dolly and I, we hit up our mentor, Bobby Blaze, and I name dropped him earlier. He was Jim Cornette used to have Smoky Mountain Wrestling back in the 90s, and Bobby Blaze was the heavyweight champion in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Then he went on to be a wrestler in WCW, and then he's traveled all over too. And Bobby's like, sure, you guys come on over. And so he put us in there with his students. We got a bunch of work in this week, and we're going to do it the next couple weeks until that tag team tournament. And we're going to go down and we're going to try to win it. We're going to try. There's a lot of good teams in it. There's the Country Gentlemen from the NWA. They're in it. So that'll be, if we get to cross paths with them, that'll be a big deal.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's 3 of you then in this group then that are
yeah.
wrestling.
It's kind of, yeah, it's so it's like Freebird rules. And what that is back in the 80s, you had the Freebirds, Terry Gordy, I think his name was Buddy Rose, I think. And God, man, I'm going to get crucified. Michael Hayes, the who's an agent for WWE now. And how the Freebird rules thing works is you got 3 guys in one team. Say you guys win the tag team champions, any formation of the 2 of the 3 can defend the tag titles.
Okay.
So any 2 of the 3 can represent the team. And that's how we're going to do it. So any 2 of the 3 of us, myself, Eric Fallen, or Zodiac, can go in as a team at any point.
Okay. So
yeah.
Okay, good. So the 3 of you can't participate in one match, like, taking out all 3. Okay.
No.
So I was going to say, I'm like, then you got an extra guy that's full of stamina compared to the others.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wish that would be badass. I didn't think about that, but no.
That's fucking awesome, dude. So is this your first time ever doing tag team?
No, I've never been in a tag. Okay, so let me clarify this. I have done a lot of tag team matches. Okay. I think my very first match was a tag team match when I broke into wrestling. So I've been in tag teams and done tag team matches, but as far as being like, here come the Hardys or here come the Dudleys, where, I've never done that. This is my first time actually linking up with an entire other couple of people and, okay, we're a unit. This is us. We're going to go be the NWO. We're going to go be DX, whatever. We're going to go be the Freebirds, whatever. This is my first time ever. So this is a first for me, like doing this.
It sounds exciting. Like I would just think that's a whole extra dynamic to it. And like,
it is. It changes it up because I'm used to doing it, like me and Dahlia going out and doing our thing. Like the last two of the last 3 matches I had, like it was cool. She was back by my side coming out, and she came out swinging the chainsaw. First woman in pro wrestling to carry a chainsaw to the ring, and here she comes out, man. She's active with CRPS, which means she's in pain 24/7. But here she comes out swinging this chainsaw like she's the fucking daughter of Leatherface. And then she gets in the ring. She's giving out stunners left and right. It was awesome. Just, dude, it's fucking cool. So I've done that before. I'm used to like having her there with me. So now having her there with me and then a whole fucking group, it'll be pretty fun.
That sounds so cool, dude. So if you had preference then, do you prefer to wrestle on your own, or do you like the element of like a tag team like that? Do you think it's like a more of a show for everybody to watch? Or?
Wrestling is such a it's such a unique hybrid sport / art form because it is the combination of acting and athleticism.
Sure.
And I have to beat somebody's ass without beating somebody's ass. And I have to make it look like I'm getting my ass beat without getting hurt. And we're supposed to protect each other. And there's a lot going on. And then you got to remember everything. And then on top of remembering what you're doing, you got to remember to work the camera. You got to remember to work the crowd. You got to remember how long you got to work. So if the promoter's like, give me 8 minutes, and that includes your entrances. All right, we got 8 minutes to get out to that fucking ring, do our business, and get back in the locker room.
Okay.
So you have all these elements, and being a singles wrestler, I personally enjoy that more because the spotlight's on me. Sure. And I'm not gonna lie about that because I only got one thing to worry about. Then it's me, my opponent, and then what we're gonna do, what Dahlia is gonna do when she gets involved, if she gets involved in the match, and that type of thing. With tag team wrestling, there's so many factors. So you can't make it all about you. It's about your team. You got to like cut the ring in half. And what I mean by that is you got to isolate your opponent and not let his tag partner, not let him get to his tag partner. And you got to make it make sense.
Sure.
So both present different challenges. And the best thing I could say is, go watch some old Rock and Roll Express or some Heart Foundation and then go watch, maybe some Ric Flair or Randy Savage in singles matches. And it's just two different things. But I mean, I prefer singles, but I'm very excited about the tag aspect because it takes off everything. I don't have to be the sole. Everybody look at me like, okay, tag, I'm out. Boom, go do your thing, brother. Right. And then I get a time, I get to rest for a second, So there's that. That's beneficial for it. But yeah.
No, I know you've kind of talked on too, just like certain people behind, in the locker room and that, and just like, some people are crazy and whatever. Is it common, or have you ever, I mean, you must have dealt with this many matches, but are there the wrestlers that will go rogue and not stick to how the match is supposed to go, and all of a sudden, like, you're like, dude, what the fuck you doing here, Like,
so that's happened in wrestling. That has never happened to me.
Okay.
Because you run the risk of, if you go out there and you try to, they call that going into business for yourself. That's what they call that.
Yeah.
So you run the risk if you do that. If I go out there, if I tell a guy I'm going to do one thing and I go out there and do the complete ass opposite of what I told him, I run the risk of not only hurting him, getting my ass kicked, but I also run the risk of, dude, this guy's untrustworthy. Don't fucking book this guy.
Yeah.
So that's where in this day and age, you can't do things like that. Now, I have been in situations where guys will try to take advantage of me and they'll try to, I don't want to say hurt me, but they would try to check me. Yeah. And I would check them back and I'd be like, hey, don't fucking do that. This isn't real. We're working, baby. So let's do what we're supposed to do. I've been in those situations. They usually stop. Not that I'm like some fucking Ken Shamrock or Brock Lesnar. It's just, I'm not going to let you take advantage of me.
Well, sure.
Because I'm giving you my body. You're giving me yours. We're here to do business. Yeah. And that's the whole aspect of professional wrestling is we're here to tell a story. We're here to do business. And we're here to put on a really good performance for the crowd. And I can go out and lose a match. So if you win a match, they call it going over. So and then if you become popular, that's called getting over. Okay. So there's a difference between going over, winning a match, and getting over. I can go out and lose a million matches and still get over. I have. It's happened a lot. Like, because that's like the beauty of wrestling. It is about winning, like to the fans and stuff, but it's not really. It's about, getting over and being this character and just being a pro. But yeah, as far as that goes, that's never happened to me. I've heard stories of shit like that happening, but if you try to pull that off, especially in this internet age, your ass is not going to get booked. Ain't nobody going to work with you. And chances are you're going to run into somebody that's bigger and badder than you, and they're going to whoop your ass.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm rapid fire questions at you just because
you're good, man.
I want to know this stuff. So something that's really intriguing with you and what you do is that you have multiple masks and things that you'll wear and like personas even. I mean, is there a difference between that, or is it all the collective same name? And then, well, what's your thought on that?
All right. So if I had a home promotion that was running weekly television, there would absolutely be a difference between all the personas. Okay. The problem is I can't pull that off right now. I used to have a home promotion that I ran at, but they went out of business. So I can't really pull that off now. So when I go and debut at a place, I usually do the human flesh. Mm-hmm. That way people know what I am. Yeah. So like when I'm wearing the human flesh mask and the human flesh vest, they'll hear the chainsaw, I'll come out, they'll see me be like, oh, okay, he's like Leatherface. All right, I get it. All right. I get the whole shtick. Because if I come out dressed as, so the green one, that's alien skin.
Yeah.
I call that just alien face. Instead of Leatherface, alien face.
Cool.
The other one is a Sasquatch skin. I call that Squatch face, And then the other one is Mothman face. Yeah. And the whole concept was when Dolly and myself were homeless in L.A. and we were training under Rikishi, for those that don't know, we had talked to him about the gimmick and stuff. And like I said last time, I love the whole idea of carrying out the chainsaw.
Oop, gotcha. Oh, hold on here. I think we just lost Nate for a second. We'll get him added right back in. Let's take a quick minute here. I think he's even in right now. Let me toss the mic on. Hold on here, Nate. There we go. Nate, can you hear me? Let's see. There we go.
You hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you, brother. Sorry, it's a quick little technical difficulty.
No worries.
Go back to Rikishi. So you were pitching the idea with him?
Yeah. So Dolly and I, we talked about it because we had different gimmicks in the past. And long story short, embrace your heritage and all that shit. And I was like, well, I'm a hillbilly, so that's what I'm going to do. And I've always wanted to do Leatherface stuff. And Dolly was like, yeah, let's do that. But then Dolly, as she came up with the idea, she was like, what if Leatherface came across Sasquatch? What would happen? I was like, holy shit. What would fucking happen? What if an extraterrestrial tried to probe the Sawyers? What would happen? And I was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. So thus the whole urban legend was born. And then we found Tony down in Florida, Spellbound Effects and Art, and he makes most of my masks. Yeah. He did the Sasquatch and the Alien. Guy in Dayton, Ohio, Robert Sicardi, made the Mothman. So there is difference between them, but I still act the same in all of them. I might get actually a little more mouthy, do the Leatherface grunts in the Sasquatch one because I have more fun in the Sasquatch mask. But the Sasquatch one actually looks like I skinned an Ewok if you look at it. It's very funny.
So okay. So then my understanding now, which is making more sense, this is basically the idea that Leatherface wears different masks. More so, right? Okay, so so it's not different personas like going from Dude Love to Mankind to Cactus Jack.
No. It could be if I had a home promotion and I could run this, I could differentiate. I would act completely different in the alien garb as opposed to the Sasquatch garb. That'd be so easy. But the whole thing that this shtick is that Dahlia came up with is, if you wanted to go the supernatural route with it, is we're not really Leatherface. It would be it started off as like the human flesh. We hunted down serial killers. We skinned a bunch of serial killers, wore their shit.
Yeah.
Then we hunted down aliens. Then we hunted down Bigfoot. Then we hunted down Mothman. We became the ultimate urban legend. And when the mask goes on, this persona, it's almost like I become a skinwalker to where I don't take accountability for my shit. And I got that ideal from the dialogue of Texas Chainsaw 3 when they mentioned W.E. Sawyer would activate the Leatherface persona when he donned a crude mask of human flesh. That always stuck out. I was like, man, why have they never done that in a Chainsaw movie? Because can you imagine if one of the Texas Chainsaw movies is somebody pulled off Leatherface's mask and he just went blank?
Yeah, right.
Because that's his personality.
Yeah. Yep.
Like if you pulled it off, he just stops everything he's fucking doing. So I took that concept and I was like, all right, this is great. When I'm in the ring, I'm this mongoloid motherfucker in a flesh mask. But when you pull that off, I go to being Vilmer from Chainsaw 4.
Yeah.
Or I go to being Alfredo, or I go to being W.E. Slaughter from Part 4, just more human. And then if you want to explain it in not make it supernatural, but make it realistic, I'm more confident when I put the mask on. I don't have to take accountability for the bad things I do when I wear the mask.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Fucking cool, dude. I now know at one point I need to get in touch with the guy that makes your mask because I need to have one of your fucking masks here in the goddamn
That's
show.
awesome, man.
I obviously that'll be a custom work between them, but I got to, man. I got to fucking
dude. He's not bad. My masks only cost $200.
That's not bad.
The vests are $500, and then the masks are $200, and they are durable, dude. I wrestle in those fucking things. Those things get stomped on, ripped off. I get punched with those things.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not shitting you. Like I have opponents, they'll pull my mask off and they'll use it and they'll fucking punch me with it. And the shit's durable, man.
And I was gonna say, I'm like, do you go through masks? Have you had the same one reproduced, or are you still rocking the same fucking original one?
I have 2 human flesh masks made because my first one, I actually like my first one more than the one I wear right now. The first one, it started to tear a little bit. And so I just retired. I was like, fuck it. I really like this one. And it had the whole mouth was covered. Okay. I'll send you some photos of it. The whole mouth was covered. And I really love the look of that one. The one I have now, my only problem with it is I kind of look like a executioner in it. And it pushes on the bridge right here of my nose where it doesn't have the chin. So it like pushes like that, and sometimes that bitch hurts. But other than that, that's the only two I've had. That's the only one I've had to replace because I still have the same alien one. I still had the same Sasquatch and the same Mothman.
God, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
I fucking love it. I love.
Thanks, man.
I love what
Thank
you
you.
do, man. God,
Well, it was. That means the world to me because when Dolly and I were coming up with it, I really just wanted to take everything I love because I love cryptozoology a lot.
Yeah.
And because I'll say this all the time on podcasts. I love anything that has characters. That's why I love wrestling. That's why I love slashers. And that's why I love cryptozoology.
Sure.
Cryptozoology, Bigfoot, Mothman,
Right.
Jersey Devil, Chupacabra. You go to slashers, Jason, Leatherface, Michael, Chucky, Pinhead.
Yep.
You go to wrestling, that's nothing but characters. So
it makes sense, brother. Absolutely.
oh yeah.
God,
Hell yeah.
Cool. I just I love to see my friends doing things that they love and enjoy, and that's just like,
Thank you, man.
It makes me fucking just happy. Just I look at you and you're passionate about you're it's fucking awesome. You're not just some office dick in a suit that you fucking hate. I mean, we all got our day jobs and shit, but
hell yeah.
This is fucking
hell yeah. I appreciate that, man. And I always appreciate the support and stuff. So thank you.
God damn, that's killer. Well, I tell you what then. I'll show you mine, you show me yours. I'll get you in touch with that guy with the wrestling belt. I'll first make sure because I think there's one left.
Okay.
And then you get me in touch with the guy that makes your mask or whatever, and we'll fucking.
Dude, I'll do that. I'll do that anyway. I got something cool to. I'm gonna send you. It's I'm friends with a collector on Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah.
And he collects like horror like busts and stuff, and he gets like custom pieces all the time. He sent me something really cool that I think you're going to be interested in.
Okay.
And I'll let you know about it. And it's actually at a really good price. And but I can't say anything on here, but I think you'll like it. So
that's killer, man. Fuck yeah, buddy. Shit. This is a fucking great pod, brother. I
thank you.
Respectful of your time here. I know about an hour and a half we've been rocking through this. So, is there anything else you want to plug? You want to talk about here before we adjourn this episode?
I guess no. The only things I want to say, I know I brought Dahlia up a lot, as I always do. With her CRPS. For anybody that doesn't know, Google CRPS, find out about it, tell your friends about it because it's a real thing that people are unaware of. We actually call it like the cryptozoology condition, illness of the medical world because people don't fucking know about it.
Sure.
And, she went through like 14 fucking doctors before she was diagnosed. So if somebody's in pain and somebody's hurting, fucking listen to them. And the signs are there. So, Google that and look that up. It's complex regional pain syndrome, CRPS, spread the word. And then other than that, just... everybody enjoy each other and have a good time. And if anybody's in Lexington, Kentucky this year in October, I think like the 20th and 19th, it's all that weekend. Big Leatherface Mania reunion going on there. Even got Caroline Williams from Part 2. She's going to be there. So
hell yeah.
So if you need any autographs, man, you let me know. I'm going to hook you up.
I will let you know, brother. I appreciate that.
Hell yeah.
And and anytime you want to come back on, brother, the book's ready. Anytime if Paige, you guys want to duel it, whatever, she wants to come on.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are fucking family. You're always welcome here. So.
Thank you, man. It means the world to me.
All right. Well, again, I just can't thank you enough for hopping on, brother.
Hell yeah.
I hope you have yourself a nice rest of the fucking weekend, and we'll be talking real soon here. I'll have to shoot you over pictures of that belt. I'm going to be doing it on the podcast here too, but.
Oh yeah. And I'll as soon as I get off here, I'm going to shoot you a message once you wrap all this up.
Sounds great. All right, Mr. Evil Nate Hewitt, the fucking son of Leatherface himself. The goddamn most handsome bastard ever enter the ring.
Thank you.
All right, brother. You have a good night.
Thanks, you too, brother.
See you, man. All right, motherfuckers. Another one in the bank. Episode 31. You know how it goes. Space Corps podcast live from the TCM Museum of Minnesota. I got to plug the last couple of things again. Get that fucking merch order in, baby. I know even homie Shango just got himself a kick-ass trucker cap right now. So if you like fucking watching the show, you want to support it, again, no obligation by any means. God damn it. But get yourself a shirt, a hat, something goofy, whatever the fuck. any little bit of sales we do here. And again, I appreciate everybody that's bought and stuff already. I cannot thank you enough. But any little bit that we sell here goes back into the show here, so I can get better microphones, fucking cameras, make it look a little bit more respectable than this fucking shit show. But I ain't fucking ashamed of how this is going, man. It's just something fucking fun to fuck around with. The Crypticon, motherfuckers, if y'all in the Minneapolis area, do not forget, coming up in September, Carolyn Williams and Big Bob Elmore are coming for a part 2 reunion. They're going to be doing a duel in fucking costume photo ops and stuff like that. Come kick it with me and the homies. Let me know if you're coming ahead of time so we can fucking get something planned or whatever. But another killer fucking show. I love everybody. Thank you for hopping in on this. Again, if you can't hang out during the live, which is doing Friday nights, 9:30 p.m. Central is kind of the general idea. It's okay if you can't make it. I upload this to the YouTube page, so make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. I will be uploading this in the next day or so, usually afterwards. It depends on when I can get some fucking time in, baby, but you know how it goes. So, in conclusion, Evil Nate Hewitt, I fucking love that guy so much, and it's probably a good thing not the Crypticon, but the fucking the con in Chicago was canceled, because I'm scared about what would have happened behind closed doors with my love for this man. Handsome motherfucker, one hell of a dude. So anyway, if you guys don't follow him, he's on Instagram, he's on Facebook, do it. One hell of a fucking cool dude. So next weekend, motherfuckers, we got somebody from the Church of Horrors Studios coming by. He is one of the disciples of the church, Mr. Deacon 8-Ball, the right-hand man to the Reverend. So I got some dope-ass shit from the Reverend we're going to be opening up. And then after that, I know I'm going to probably have a Mars Attacks unboxing fucking related episode, because I got a bunch of shit there. Just keep it fucking locked, baby. Y'all have yourself a nice end of the fucking weekend. Stay hydrated out there. It's hot as piss up in Minnesota. I can only imagine how hot it is down in the rest of the fucking country. That's it, motherfuckers. Space Corps Podcast is your boy Stoney out. Thanks again for fucking watching, guys. Peace.